Good morning, guys. Welcome to day 58 until I am a YouTube millionaire. What's on my mind today is I was watching some videos on Bill Gates and his relations and learned how he progressed into quite the tyrant as he got older. Really right around the time that he created, along with Paul Allen, Windows 3.1 and pushed Paul Allen out of Microsoft. I don't know what happened there, but something clicked in his mind where he really started disliking people. Excuse me, I got a little bit of a congestion thing going on. I also remember watching a video of a random person just running up to him as he was going into his offices and pieing him in the face. I don't know if this was before or after he had made that decision to suddenly convert into disliking humanity, or hating humanity even. Get back up there. Get up there. Get up there. Sorry. But I was watching a video on Moon. It is a pretty big YouTube channel. About 2 million subscribers, thereabouts. And this video was made about 2 months or 2 years ago. And Bill Gates' associations are people like Jay Epstein. I can't say his name because YouTube doesn't like it. George Soros, people like that. As soon as his wife, or ex-wife now, discovered that Bill Gates was associated with Jeffrey Epstein, damn it, I just said his name, she immediately began the process of filing divorce papers. Or after she had found out that he continued his relations with that guy. Because initially she had told him to stay away from him. He didn't. He kept doing it. One of the sticking points for so many people out there that get their hearts full of resentment is the concept that you are your brother's keeper. You absolutely are. Bill Gates is approximated to have an IQ of 160. Sorry, that's my stomach. That makes him one of the smartest people that you'll ever find, in the same league as an individual like Albert Einstein. They're about 1 in 10 to 1 in 40,000. That means they could be the very smartest person in a small city. You don't find them very often. And then you juxtapose that with one of George Carlin's most famous quotes. And I'm going to paraphrase it here. Think of how dumb the average person is. Then just realize that half of the people out there are dumber than him, or her, whatever. Personally, I think the average Joe is somebody I'd like to sit down and have a beer with. I think he's a pretty cool guy. You know, Joe Bowers from Idiocracy. I like that guy. I could be friends with him. So he might say some silly things, not understand everything, but he doesn't have to. We can have a good time. Somewhere along the way, Bill Gates forgot that. And again, I say this all the time. This is a perfect case study of it. generation to generation, the most foundational of truths, the simplest ones for all of us. Because we live such short lives, we forget them so quickly. So yeah, Bill Gates might have an IQ of 160, but forgive them for they know not what they do is not something he understands. Because, at least as far as I can tell, he never had that ethic, the Christian ethic. We forget these things so easily. And when we face the travails of the world in which we live, even though he's a billionaire, what happens when you get to that level of wealth is the laymen oftentimes are ungrateful for what you built. And you get bitter. And you think, oh, these guys have to be taken away or done away with. George Soros did that very early on in his life. That guy is just completely evil. And the fact that Bill Gates is associated with him may very well have contributed to his breaking as a person. For one to misunderstand so deeply just how important it is to listen to what Jesus told us to do, and to have such great power in this world at the same time is tragic and terrifying and very, very dangerous. And as you can see, it turned his world upside down. Certain things that you and I perhaps instinctually know are completely evil, things you should not do, he's now starting to consider. Everything gets flipped upside down. That's the goal of the enemy, to invert your world, to confuse you, to put you in despair, to discourage you. And that line in everybody's heart goes right down the middle. And unfortunately, he is not a man that we can trust anymore, and hasn't been for a very long time. Some of the things he's doing aren't necessarily bad. Like, I'm personally a pescatarian. I don't eat red meat, don't eat chicken, pork, beef, but I eat fish. And before that, I was vegetarian. One of the reasons I switched over to vegetarianism was because, for some reason, my body is genetically predisposed to not processing creatine very well, is my guess. So I was getting kidney stones. And when I stopped consuming red meat, because it hasn't happened even with pescatarianism, I don't get kidney stones anymore. The last kidney stone I had was in 2010, I think, when I was at the Air Force Academy. And at the time, I didn't know it was a kidney stone. But now, looking back on it, it had all the symptoms of being a kidney stone. That's what it was. So, what he's trying to do with this fake meat thing isn't necessarily bad. It's just his intentions might not be good. I don't like meat. Never have. I don't like eating meat. I never have. It doesn't taste good to me. No matter how you cook it, I don't like it. So I, other than fish, eat fake meat. The idea is pretty cool. Not having to dispatch an animal in order to sustain yourself. I like that. I like that a lot. It falls in line with the lion laying with the lamb in the kingdom of God. I like that a lot. I totally accept that we are not there yet. We are not capable of doing that fully and healthfully yet here on Earth. Human beings need to have all sources of food. We cannot curtail that. And the base idea there is sound, but not at the cost of starving billions of human beings. When you're full of resentment, one of the things that happens is your priorities get all jacked up. You worship Gaia as opposed to being your brother's keeper. Bill Gates is a sad case study. It's tragic. If he were to go back to God, then of course he can be saved, but I don't know if that's going to happen. So anyways, that's all I got for today. Love y'all. Peace.